am standing at one of the many Marcey graves at the Mount Olivet Cemetery. The Marcey family is one of the families that donated the land where Mount Olivet now stands. And Mount Olivet was literally built on a compromise. Two families, the Brown family and the prominent Marcey family, owned large pieces of land in North Arlington, and both laid claim to this important intersection. This was an important intersection for trade, commerce, transportation, politics. And around the time that their feud was heating up, the Methodists were looking for a place to build a church in Northern Virginia. And we don't know who, but Frank Ball calls it a peace-loving individual, went to both families and suggested, what if instead of fighting over it, you give it to the church? And so Mount Olivet actually has two deeds. March 12th, 1855, the Browns go over to the courthouse and they deed this land to the Methodist Church. 17 days later, in what I'm sure was very confusing for the county clerk, the Marceys go over to the courthouse and deed the exact same plot of land. It took years to raise the money, but after a few years, they built this beautiful church that has now been reconstructed 4 different times. But 50 years later, they wanted to commemorate that founding, and they couldn't remember when it happened. Nobody wrote it down. One man, however, said, "The one thing I remember is before I headed to the charting meeting, I remember that I was shucking corn." And so corn shucking season was at the end of October, and now we celebrate Mount Olivet's anniversary, October 30th, because of corn.